players who are over the age of 50 up to the age of 90. So in the course of making this documentary film, we did a section on veterans because so many of our players are military veterans. We had a World War II vet, one. We had many more Korean War vets. We have quite a few Vietnam vets, and then we just kind of had a disconnect because the people who fought in Afghanistan and Iraq just aren't quite that old yet to play senior softball. Well, it turns out that also in the course of the film, we made a connection with the Louisville Slugger. And they said, look, you guys got to get the Wounded Warrior team in your film. And they gave us a connection, and we started talking to them, and they had one player who had just turned 50 years old. So he was eligible to play senior slow pitch softball.
I can't read these.
So we got him in the film and met the team. So part of the original documentary film was with the Wounded Warrior players. Well, this is probably not going to be a surprise to most of you, but softball players are tremendous gossips. They talk about everything.
Which one?
They talk about each other, they talk about their wives and their kids, and it's a terrible thing. But through that connection, Scott Coonan, who I believe spoke to y'all last year, saw the film. He's very involved in senior softball, and he said, you know, this is like something that we can do here as a community for the veterans community to get a program going. And so we started talking to the Wounded Warrior team to come to Dayton, which we were able to do last year, and we put together a fundraiser to raise money basically for the Fisher House, which is building the new Fisher House at the VA hospital. So that's how all this started. The Wounded Warrior team, basically, they have their own agenda, and their agenda is to test new prosthetics. You know, the Iraq and Afghanistan wars have caused a need for prosthetics that we never had before because people were surviving their battlefield injuries now. Well, now what do we do? So part of their agenda is not only to go around the country playing slow pitch softball as exhibition games, but to show people how they live and can have a normal life, even though they have anywhere from 1 to 2 or even 3 amputations. So these are young guys. They're all in their 20s. They're from all over the country. And whenever they have an exhibition game, they all have to fly in, do their exhibition or whatever the local community wants them to do. Usually it's a fundraising type of thing. And then they all fly home. Some of them are still active duty. Some of them are working for like veterans hospitals around the country and that kind of thing. So this is a genesis of this whole thing. Last year we had a couple exhibition games at Wright State University. We like to try to get everybody in the community involved. And they played one game against Dayton Legends, which is a softball club in Dayton. Another game was against local first responders, you know, police, fire, military people. So we had our event, and through our event, we raised, in our very first year, we had no resources.
5 months.
We didn't get started on the thing until February. The event was in May. In our first year, we were able to donate over $12,000 to Fisher House. We were able to cover our expenses for flying in a team of guys from all over the country, which ran around 10 grand.
Wow.
And we also donated some extra money to them just because we thought it was a good thing to do. This year we're doing the same thing, although their schedule, they're totally booked up for the year. We were able to talk them into coming here early in October.
Where will they play? Where?
We're still working on that. We are talking to University of Dayton to use their diamond, and we're also talking to Wright State again to use their diamond. They have some special needs, as you can imagine, when they come to play. If you're playing on one or two prosthetics, you have to have a pretty good field, and both of those facilities are first rate. And you know, you have to have, we learned a lot doing this, you have to have spare parts around. That's just the way it is. So you have to have some link up to the medical community in town so that there's somebody there in case they need to replace a part for one of their prosthetics. Things like that happen. So it's been a learning experience for all of us, and it's been, and I think these guys have got emotionally very rewarding event. And that's why I was hoping to show you this video we had. If it doesn't work, you can all get your cell phones out and I'll give you the link and you can look it up on your cell phone.
Or we could just set Tony's computer at the end of the table and face it this way and play it straight from the computer.
Yeah, why don't
If I
we do
can get
that?
my computer.
Yeah.
I'm rebooting it. Let's see if that makes
that's
a
fine.
difference.
So anyway, that's, and what we did, these guys attract people, so it's not just what we're trying to do. And I had originally, when I met them when I was doing this documentary film, they were playing at a tournament in Indianapolis. And they just attract people who have similar physical ailments. Whether it's small children who've never seen somebody, you know, who's lost a leg run, things like that. It's veterans who are dealing with issues with PTSD and readjustment types of things. People just start coming out to see these guys. From that perspective, it's just very rewarding. We were also fortunate to work with Vietnam Veterans Chapter 97 last year, and as part of our whole event, we had a ceremony honoring Vietnam veterans who came out and were able to make a link between their service and the service of the younger guys, which, as I understand, has not always been the easiest thing to do. It was extremely emotional for our Vietnam vets, the ceremony that we held. A lot of them said that's the first time they'd ever been recognized since they came back in the 60s.
In a couple of years since then.
It meant so much to them, but it was for the younger guys, it gave them a chance to also, you know, thank their predecessors. So just a tremendously rewarding thing, and we're able to do something for the community, and we're doing it again this year. We have a little bit more time. I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah, let me tell you, the thing we did, we honored the Vietnam vets that year. They come to first base, I gave them one of the pins I gave you. They went to second base, they got a certificate and thing. And then we used Joe Nuxall. Remember Joe Nuxall?
Yeah.
Some of you remember Joe.
He
He used to do the rounding third heading
Well,
home.
take some pictures.
Well, we changed that a little bit. We made rounding third
There's more
welcome.
information. I can send you
We had a guy at
documents
home
and-
plate welcoming
or
everybody.
you can just have
But we were supposed to go
one of
around
these
the
packets.
base, third base, and then high five these guys down the base. Well, three of them told me at the after party that we had, that turned into they had never welcomed home. They'd never done a ceremony like that, and it caught them guys as off guard as it caught us. And the first vet, the one guy told me, the first vet that hit third base brought tears to some of these guys' eyes, and it turned into a hug fest going down the line instead of just high fiving. And the one guy said, we've never been a part of an event like that. And he said it just turned us all inside out a little bit. So I enjoyed it. I mean, it was, you know, you get welcome home like that. It was a moving experience for me. So, I mean, these guys were just super.
That's like doing a honor flight. How
Yes, it was just
very
like
emotional. That yes.
It was similar to honor flight. Yeah, I would like to
Well-
add something if I may.
become very personalized with a lot of these guys, and I got a baseball bat signed by him. And the gentleman whose arm was off, he had a baseball card, and he signed me one, and I cherished it. It's a great experience.
Well, and since you brought up Honor Flight, they have become part of our program this year as well. So what we're doing, first of all, we do have to cover our expenses, which the major expense is bringing the team in. But then once you get them here, we have to house them, we have to feed them, we have to move them around from place to place. So there's transportation involved. So we have to cover all those expenses. Luckily this year, we don't have as many expenses because we already have our marketing materials put together. We had excess left over from last year, which is a good thing. But Honor Flight is our third charity that we're doing this year. So one of the things I would like to suggest while we're here, we have some packets with our information, and we're looking for a few things from people as we go around talking. We are looking for sponsors. We do have, like an official sponsor list and that kind of thing, but there are also other ways to sponsor would be to donate time. If you're affiliated with the business or a reference you could give us for potential sponsors, that's a way to kind of help us in our efforts too. One of the other things we're doing is a lot of what we call satellite fundraisers leading up to the event. And a satellite fundraiser that we are doing, as a matter of fact, Friday night, we're having an event at Hank's Pub, a little neighborhood bar. My band is playing. We're going to be selling raffle tickets to a Dayton Dragons game, a luxury box, doing things like that, and asking for donations and that sort of thing. We have a softball tournament that's coming up later in May, and we have a golf outing that's coming up in July, I believe it is. I was told that some of you are avid golfers, and I have some brochures on the golf outing if anybody's interested in that. Another way to help support us is we do have a program that we put out. This is last year's program. I'm going to pass one of these around for you just to take a look at. You'll see some pictures in there, some of our other sponsors that we've had throughout the year. The good news is this year we believe we have enough sponsor commitments now to cover our cost of bringing the team in.
That's great.
I always say I play music, so I say you got to pay the band, right? If you're having a fundraiser, you got to pay the band first. So we think we have the team covered, and we're going to rely on these satellite fundraisers to then generate the donations that we're going to be able to do. We are working with Dayton Foundation on this, so they actually handle the funds, send out the donor letters and that sort of thing. We want to make sure we're following all the rules, and we think we're in pretty good shape this year. There's also some talk about having a car show at Rip Rap Tavern up in Huber Heights later in the year for anybody who's interested in cars and that sort of thing. What have I left out, guys?
I think you did a good job.
Okay.
You presented it very well. I got some cards here if anybody wants
Yeah.
one.
I need one, please.
Where's the team coming from? They all different parts of the country?
Yeah, and it's
Or not.
the team headquarters. Their official office is actually in the Washington area at one of the VA centers. But the players themselves, they're scattered all over the country, and from time to time, depending on what their assignments are. Remember I mentioned a lot of them are still active duty, and they just can't leave to come and play softball. so the team could vary the roster, and so we're never quite sure where they're coming in from. And of course, in Dayton, there are some limitations on the airport, so we have limitations on when flights come in from certain areas, and that creates some issues maybe for transportation too. But the really cool thing about it is then for the players on the team who they don't necessarily see each other all the time, so for them it's like a special treat. They were very happy with the way they were treated last year and the effectiveness of our program, which is one of the reasons why they're coming back to Dayton. Usually they will not do more than 2 consecutive years in a town. They have basically just told us that, as long as we want them, they're coming to Dayton. So now we have to make sure that that happens.
Put this in perspective a little bit. I don't know if any of you remember a couple months ago that double amputee New York police officer that
Oh, yeah.
he's a member of this organization.
Okay.
They had a picture of him in his uniform, and he was one guy participated in some of these games. So that gives you a little face on things of what's going on with their thing. And we were glad to get involved with these guys. They come at us, they said, we don't want your money, we want your time and expertise as far as hooking us up with people. So they use our building over in Huber Heights. That's where we meet, and if anybody wants to come in and see how things are going on and what's got any real more questions about, if you want to bring a business in or something like that, I got cards here with our address.
He's a vet.
Can I have one,
He's a
please?
veteran, but not Vietnam.
May I add something, please?
Yeah.
When they came to us to help us that day, they asked, what can we do? Well, I did a lot of fundraising. I worked at General Motors. And what Dave and I did, we went door to door to all these businesses and asked for contributions. And then during the game, we chanced them all. And it was a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of people, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we did some things in the Oregon district. If you got a business and you want to, an example, we had a lot of business people took their business card and put it in that book. Cost you, I think it's $200 or something like that. But you can get your business card put in the program. Things like that.
One thing I helped, because Dave and I are able to be a little bit more active than some of the other members, we were able to do a lot of things. He went to his dentist, I went to my insurance agent, we went to Kroger's, and the response was just overwhelming.
That's good.
I went to, the bowling alley gave me passes for the bowl, and I got tickets from the movie theater, and the gentleman at the hot dog place gave us $100 cash and $100 of the hot dogs, and I just enjoyed it.
I had a guy, I went in for a donation to this one business, and the guy kind of apologized to me. He said, well, he says, really, the only thing I can do is I can give you $100, and let you go at that. He says, I'm sorry, I can't do more than that. And I looked at him and I said, wait a minute. Suppose I went to 100 places today and each one of them gave me $100. How good am I doing? He said, I never looked at it that way. So we've had all kinds of responses.
Yeah, now I do have some packets with all of our materials in them for anybody who's interested in that. I also have a single sheet for programming advertising. And one of the things that we're doing in our program, which is kind of interesting, and we actually learned this from another community that had done something similar, we are doing memoriam and honorarium listings for vets. And if you haven't got the message here, the foundation of the Dayton Warriors Softball Fund is basically we're veteran oriented and we're trying to do things. It may not always be the Wounded Warrior team, but we're trying to do things that raise funds for our veterans. So But anyway, anybody who might be interested in program ads, I've got a sheet for that.
Leave us something of everything,
I can do that.
okay?
Okay.
And we'll, so we can do. We,
Folders, they can have one of these.
Yeah.
we're involved right now with the golf outing for, Miami Valley Military Affairs Association and the President's Club.
Uh-huh.
Last year we gave a check to the,
That kind of did it. Fisher House as well, didn't it?
$12,000 to the Fisher House, and that's what we raised the money for our golf outing, which is
Oh,
next
terrific.
Friday.
Again, we're bucking up with Fisher House.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the places we're raising money for.
Now, we're gonna need volunteers for it.
Please.
But it's a great cause. I'll have you guys speak to the President's Club too, like you did last year. Sold a lot of tickets, didn't you? Last year.
And Dave does have some tickets for a Dayton Dragons raffle thing. They're $5 a piece. It's a bargain if you
There you
win.
go. Did you bring any?
So if anybody's interested in buying some raffle tickets, and
We'll take some,
the
Dave.
Dragons have been really good because we said we'd like to do it again. They said, okay, we'll pick the date. And they're doing their hometown heroes promotion on, is it May 20th or May 21st? So they gave us a box, they donated a box seat for us to raffle off
Right.
for that day.
That's good.
So
When
that,
is it, this May 21st?
it's either 20th or 21st. It's their hometown heroes, the 20th. Yeah. So anyway, who should get these?
Here's the,
When's
here's
the
the,
game that,
Did you want to give more?
Upton staff?
Yeah, I'll just,
Do you want to give that many?
yeah, sure.
What day is that?
it's the
I know
20th. Here's
Tony
the,
Here, we're done reading.
here, you can look at that.
All right. I'll take some.
That'll give you a feel.
Hey guys, if you'll, you talked about emailing me some documents. Email me this stuff, and I will make sure that it goes out on our social media and on our
Okay.
LinkedIn page and stuff like that for other people to see.
Terrific.
Who's in charge of the veterans thing up in Heber? Is that- okay.
Yeah, Vietnam Veterans Chapter 97.
Yeah.
Well, Dave is one of
You,
them.
I gave you my card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it?
He's got my card. I gave you 3 of them. So pass them on.
There you go.
Like I said, see, we have people like this, that they put an ad with their card in our
I'll
book.
take a,
So, I mean, you know, it's just little things like that.
Well, I was gonna see if you might be interested in me coming
Need a
up
pen,
and
sir?
holding like a
Need a pen,
lesson
sir?
or two,
Yeah.
seminar about for the seniors about
You do fundraisers, always
raising
curious.
computer
Yeah.
literacy and how to stay safe online and stuff.
Oh. Yeah, we can.
I got a pen, I got a pen.
Whatever we can do.
Donations?
We'll try,
We
yeah,
do
we'll
take
take anything.
donations.
Was that a
I'll,
raffle?
I'll let Dave handle that. He's okay.
Sure you don't want a ticket to the game?
Okay.
Alright.
You could give it away if you win.
Yeah, you can give it away if you win. I mean, it's for you and 19 of your friends. You get the box. So, okay.
I'll take your ticket. Jeez, dude.
Here's some.
Okay,
Sorry.
she'll take his ticket.
I'll take his ticket.
Alright, there you go.
Are we selling the rest? Or these are the ones that you're selling?
Those are the ones we're selling today.
All right, hear ye. Show up the bucks.
Yeah,
For the baseball
Same
ticket
thing.
thing. $5 each.
same thing.
Okay,
No, I haven't paid for it, but I'm going to.
No, Al, my Al.
Oh.
I'll tell you what,
A raffle ticket.
I thought I had $5
I do.
Tony, that disc has some pictures on it that came from the video. So if we can't get the video out, we could always
Computer up.
play the disc just to show some pictures.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's 8. I'll do 2.
I'll play it off my computer here.
Okay. Yeah, and I can.
Tony, do you want
One of the
tickets?
things about
I already got some.
one of
Okay.
the other things I should tell,
Is
so
that
I
a
can.
different one?
No, there's
Is that
just
a different one?
these. Is that?
It went
That's
down
for the
that
game,
side.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went
Yeah, I
down
got
that
it.
side.
Okay.
Yeah, my card's got my email address
All
on
right,
it.
here we go.
Okay. Oh, now this is just a theme song we wrote that the team is now using. So it is a video, but this is just the audio portion of it. And what we did was we wrote a customized theme song for the team. Oh, he's got it up there on his laptop.
No, this is
Hey Al, why don't you move this coffee cups? We'll put down there on the end so you can see.
He's filming
No, I paused it so you guys could move it down to the end so everybody could see.
Actually, we can put it on the table. Yeah, put it on the table so everybody can see.
Lower the screen.
We're gonna put this on this table.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked him.
I'll give you a little bit of background on this video. The production company that we used to do our documentary film, while they were here in Dayton last year, we shot film of this, and then I wrote a custom theme song for the team to use, and they've adopted it now as their official theme song and video for the team. So this is all a local Dayton production.
The arrow.
Just hit the space bar. Just hit the space bar. Now you do. You're welcome. Free of charge.